Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to another episode of Coco and the Sun podcast. I am your host, Malika Critchlow. Very blessed and grateful to be here today. Just trying to find my path and figuring out like what's for me and what's not for me, and where the most joy will be for me, the most fulfillment, the most peace, the most harmony. So, yeah. Welcome back. Today we're going to continue reading from the Jeshua Channelings. I didn't do an episode last week. I was just exhausted. Um, and I don't know why, because it's regular work week. Um, I think it's just maybe the energies were such that I needed to rest and I couldn't find the um time or the energy to do the podcast last week. But I did make a little video and I posted it yesterday, a little whale music video, solfeggio frequency video. I think it's 528 hertz, which has to do with love and being loved. Um, yes, I'm gonna experiment a little bit with making solfeggio frequency videos. I was curious about it and would like to put some up on my page that are originally from me. Well, the visuals. The sounds I get from free apps that allow the use of the sounds. So anyways, so what has been going on with me, with everyone? How is everyone doing? You guys feeling okay? How are you feeling this week? I have been getting a few messages, understanding more about my confidence and why it is the way it is, and how it affects how I interact with the external world and my expectations, and then how these expectations come back to me in my uh, reality. It was a really curious uh, weaving. It felt like a weaving up and down in between how um, an aspect of my childhood affected so much of my outcomes and my perspective on how I am received in the world. Not in a negative way, as in, in a blaming way, just in a truthful way. How how that affected my outlook and how I move through life, how I believe I'm received, and then how I am actually received, how I believe I'm received. I'm not sure how to undo it yet, but I think the understanding of it has been really helpful and the awareness of it. So we'll see how that progresses. Um, been, I think, subtly dealing with what my purpose is. And although I didn't think I was frustrated with not knowing my purpose, apparently, I am really sad about not knowing what my purpose is at 47 and allowing for that to unfold in its own time has been. Although I didn't know it, the dream showed it, and then it started coming up this week. It has been struggle for me, not feeling as though I have something to offer the world. That's it. Not feeling like I have something to share that is of benefit to others. Um, a gift that I can share in love with others has been bothering me, apparently. So the understanding I came to this week, it's not that I know what my gift is or what my purpose is or what I'm here to share or, you know, the understanding is to be okay with having nothing to offer. And so having nothing to offer allows for me having the most to offer. That was the message I got this week. Be okay with having nothing to offer because that is when you'll have the most to offer. So that has been marinating in my spirit, integrating, um, trying to understand it more clearly and more deeply. Um, this morning as well, I got that the way that I accept the aspects of myself that are not pretty or petty or unkind or revengeful or angry, the not best parts or what I consider not to be good parts of myself. Um, the more that I accept that as not being bad parts of myself, but just being parts of my being. And I know that these aspects of myself were coping mechanisms and helped me move through certain situations to get to this place. I know that I'm grateful for these aspects of myself, but still like judging it. This expands to aspects of my family who I view as not aspects that I would like to interact with. Um, it correlated it as the better I get at accepting and loving these aspects of myself, it will allow me to love and accept these family members more smoothly. So while I knew this in terms of the more that I can accept parts of myself that I deem unlovable would allow me to love others um, more that are deemed, difficult or problematic. I hadn't correlated it to my family, which is an extension of myself, which is an extension of the world, um, of the collective, the galaxy. So that came in very clearly today. That doesn't mean that I am able to do it just yet, but it really came in clearly that these aspects of my family that are reflecting in the way that they are to me is a reflection of aspects of myself that I am having trouble accepting and have been othering. So I'm dealing with that. Also dealing with a lack of determination versus senseless efforting. And so knowing when to let go, or if, something that you're not successful with, um, if you should continue with it to achieve what you're trying to achieve, um, or it's something that's not aligned for you, you need to let go and doing when that is. So I think I am learning how to differentiate. I had a long period of my life where everything over a period of time did bring results. And so that's just how I thought life is. It may seem hard, but you have to keep going to get to what you want, right? And that works. It takes a lot of effort and time to get there, but it does work. So then I got to another stage in my life about 3 years ago where I would much rather attract what's for me and let the opportunities come to me, um, and receive in that way and let it flow. And so if things didn't come, I was okay with letting that go and being like, okay, well, it's not the right time. And that's fine too. But I got a message this week again in the dream, about a lack of determination. So I think I may have gotten too laxed with letting things go. And so there needs to be a balance with determination and allowing things to flow. So now I have to figure out that balance. I would have liked it to be inspired action leads to things flowing and there not being something to push against, to keep, you know, um, working against if it's not um coming to fruition. But apparently I've been messaged, and I'm not sure I completely understand the message from the dream, that I need to increase my determination. I don't know if this has to do with increasing my belief of knowing things will work out, or if it means I need to continue doing the things that I want to do, that I love, that I'd like to see my life expand in that way. I don't know if it means because in the dream, someone told me I had lack of determination. And when they had said that to me, I had um, said, that's not true because I wouldn't be where I am today had I not had determination. So I wasn't off put by what they said because I felt like that didn't define me. But I felt like they were telling me something as well that I wasn't aware of, like I needed to get back to some aspect of my will, my will to get what I want done. So this has not been an issue with me prior, except for, the last 3 years where I've been trying to attract instead of will things into existence. So I feel like I don't know if the dream's telling me that the person um was focused on effort, and I was trying to tell the person basically that I can, effort and will things into existence, but that I wasn't there anymore and that I didn't need to do that anymore. Or if the dream was telling me that I needed to balance it, I feel like it's telling me that I needed to balance it, that I had completely abandoned my will and was just going with the flow, whatever came. I mean, I would intention for things, of course, and allow the universe to bring it in the best way, in the best time, and, divine timing, being excited about it coming, but also being very, very happy in the space that I was. And I really wasn't so focused on willing things. And I think what I understand from the dream, and I could be misunderstanding it, is that I need to balance. determination, and flow. So I think that makes sense because that's like masculine and feminine aspects, right? So I've had two aspects of it. I've lived in two aspects of it. And so now I think I'm supposed to balance that. I think that's what's going on. So the same thing with the aspects of self that I'm abandoning or othering in relation to family. I have been completely content with the aspects of myself that I view as not my most evolved self in the past. I've been completely happy with that. And then as I have expanded more into understanding myself, I am finding now that who I want to be, I am othering who I was. So I have to blend. I have to blend the two, balance the two, because they're both me. And I have to accept both without judging. And this allows me to accept others more. So again, another balancing, the balancing, the feminine and masculine aspects of myself. So that's what's been going on for me in the last week or two. You know, it's been really interesting. I don't know how I um balance it or solve it or embody it. I just am aware of it. And that's what I've been in a place of awareness and acceptance with this is the aspects of myself um, that I am, that I was, that I am, that I was, that I am sometimes. And so that's why it's just at awareness and trying to accept. I haven't figured out yet how to live in the blending of the two. So, but it is curious how it all happens. Okay, so today we're going into the new earth in the book. Sorry, I gave you a lot of chatter of my confusion with, with what I'm living. Maybe I need to be okay with not being able to embody it, to embody it. The paradox, to me, this universe is really a paradox. So, like, if I want to get, if I'm rushing, I need to slow down in order for it to go faster, essentially. That's the simplest way I can explain the paradox of it. If I want to get somewhere faster, I need to go slower. So if I want to embody it, I probably need to not embody it and be okay with not embodying it, to embody it. If I want to have something to offer, I need to be okay with not having anything to offer so that I have more to offer. It's a paradox. The whole thing is a paradox, right? Like, if you want abundance, you have to be okay with having nothing in order to have all. It's coming from a place of the void, the space of nothing, than being the greatest potential, all the possibilities being rich there. So actually, nothing is everything. It's a complete paradox. But I think that's how it works. I'm just figuring it out myself. You also tell me if this is what you guys are getting. Or if I'm off track here, but that feels like that. It feels like the womb space, the place of nothing, the 0 point is actually where everything is, all the possibilities. So when you get to zero possibilities, that's when you have infinite possibilities. If I have nothing to offer, I have the most to offer. If I have, if I feel like I have nothing, that's when I actually have the most. It's confusing. I don't want to confuse anybody else. It's, because sometimes putting things into words makes it more confusing. Some things don't need to have definitions. Okay, so let's move on. We are reading The Jeshua Channelings by Pamela Krebe. And now we're going to read The New Earth, the planetary cycle. Everything that evolves in cycles, planets as well as humans. I'm sorry, I read that wrong. Everything that is evolves in cycles, planets as well as humans. It is not exceptional for an individual or groups of individual souls to step off the karmic cycle at some point in time. What makes this era special, however, is that the Earth herself is completing a major karmic cycle. The Earth is involved in an inner transformation, which will result in a new type of consciousness on her being as a planet. At whatever point individual souls are within their own cycle, the Earth's transformation process will affect them. The Earth is your house. Compare it to the house you live in. Imagine that it is being rebuilt. This will greatly affect your daily life. Depending on your state of mind, you will experience it as a welcome change or a disrupting and upsetting event. If you were planning, if you were planning and looking forward to rebuilding your house anyway, you are in sync with the changes and you can go with the flow. The Earth's transformation process will support and enhance your personal transformation process. If you did not want to have your house rebuilt at all, you will feel frustrated by the chaos surrounding you. The inner Earth changes will throw you off balance. For the ones who are welcoming the inner changes of your planet Earth, these will be extremely empowering times. You will be lifted by the wave of light that is presently flooding your universe. At present, the Earth is almost cracking beneath the karmic burden of humanity. The negativity and violence which spring from this karmic burden form a kind of energetic waste that the Earth is hardly able to process, to neutralize, or integrate. Focus your consciousness for a moment on the heart of the Earth. Relax and focus. Can you feel something there? Can you feel how the Earth is being torn apart? How there is so much violence upon her? The Earth is feeling powerless and resistance at this time. She is on the verge of creating a new foundation for her being. The Earth is going to release the energies of struggle, competition, and drama on inner and outer levels. The new foundation that is dawning within her is the energy of the heart, the energy of balance and connectedness, the living Christ energy. The earth, just like humanity, is involved in a learning experience. Just like humanity, her consciousness is evolving and transforming itself. As with humanity, her journey started from a certain type of ignorance to unconsciousness about her own being. The Earth, once a dark planet which absorbed or swallowed the energies surrounding her, sorry guys. The Earth was once a dark planet which absorbed or swallowed the energies surrounding her. She took in energies or beings that she encountered and she assimilated them completely. She took away their uniqueness and, in a sense, killed them. This sprang from a desire for expansion. The earth somehow sensed a lack or inadequacy within her, which she interpreted as a need to conquer and assimilate other energies. Since the earth did not give anything back to these energies, there was not really an interaction between them. It was a deadly and death-like process. At a certain time, the earth became aware that this process did not satisfy her. She felt something lacking in this way of feeling herself. Her sense of inadequacy was not relieved by it. Her urge towards expansion was not satisfied by making energy dead. At this moment, within earth consciousness, the desire was born for liveliness, for life. Not that the earth was fully aware of it. She just knew she wanted something else, something new, a kind of interaction with other energies which would not end in the reduction of those energies to earth energy. Within earth consciousness, a space was created for the experience of something different than herself. Energetically, this meant the beginning of life on earth. It is a cosmic law that all deeply felt desires will ultimately create the means for their realization. Desires, which are essentially a mixture of thought and feeling, are creative energies. This holds for planets as well as for people. Within Earth, as a planet, a longing had arisen, a longing to experience life, a longing to preserve and cherish life instead of destroying it. And so it happened. When life came to Earth, the Earth herself started to bloom and blossom. She entered a new domain of experience, which filled her with a sense of surprise and satisfaction. She was not surprised that such a simple longing, such a vaguely felt need, could bring about such grand and novel developments. On Earth, a grand experiment of life forms unfolded. Oh, many life forms were drawn to manifest themselves on Earth and to experiment with the energies present. The Earth became a breeding place for novelty. There was freedom to explore new roads, new possibilities. There was and still is free will for all creatures. With the creation of life, the Earth and all living creatures upon it started to pursue a certain line of inner development. This path of experience had as its central theme the balance between giving and taking. At the inner level of consciousness, the earth has been striving for eons to find the right balance between giving and taking. As a planet, Earth gives and takes life. In Earth's dark period, the stage in which she absorbed and liquidated energies, the accent strongly was on taking. At present, she has wound up, at present, she has wound up at the other extreme, given to the limit of what she can give. The earth has long tolerated violence and exploitation by humanity, but this was comically fitting in a sense. The earth had to explore the other side of power and oppression. Her actions as an offender incited the opposite experience of being a victim, like a boomerang. That is how karma works. It's not a matter of punishment. To really understand and come to terms with the issue of power, you have to experience both sides of it. Anything you struggle with, you want to assert power over, you will meet again as victim or offender until you recognize that you are both one, both part of the one living divine energy. Actually, it says both part of the one divine energy. I don't know why I said both part of the one living divine energy. Maybe I was supposed to say that. The ruthless exploitation of Earth in current times, then, is to some extent karmically adequate, since it has provided the Earth with an opportunity to come to a full understanding of the balance between giving and taking. However, the limits to which disrespect and exploitation are karmically adequate are within sight. The Earth has reached its understanding of the balance and is completing her karmic cycle of consciousness. She has attained a level of love and awareness now that will not tolerate human abuse for much longer. This level of consciousness will cause her to attract like-minded energies which savor harmony and respect, and to repel energies which with destructive intent. The time has come for a new balance between giving and taking. On the new earth, there will be peace and harmony between planet Earth and all that lives upon her, human, plant, and animal. The harmony and heartfelt connectedness between all beings will be a source of great joy and creativity. The transition from old earth to new earth is a process that is not fixed in time and character. Much depends upon the choices made by humanity, the choices made by all of you as individuals right now. A lot of predictions have been and are being made about this time of transition. Making such predictions is always a dubious affair. The point is, your visible material reality is a manifestation of inner collective states of consciousness. Consciousness is, as we put it at the start, free and creative. At any time, you can decide to change your future by thinking and feeling differently. You have power over your thoughts and feelings. At any time, you can say no to limiting, destructive thoughts or feelings. This counts for you as an individual, but also goes for larger groups of people. When a substantial group of individuals chooses freedom and love over self-hate and destruction, then this will manifest itself in a material way, in a material reality. Hmm. The earth will react to it. She is sensitive to what takes place inside of people. She responds to your inner movements. By this, we would like, I think they're missing a word, but by this, we would like to point out that no one, not even on our side, is able to make accurate predictions as to the way in which the new earth will be birthed. It is clear, however, that the group of souls now completing their karmic cycle is closely connected energetically to the new earth. These people who often feel deeply connected to the ideals embodied in the new earth will have beautiful opportunities to grow and release because of the planetary and personal cycle coinciding. In the following chapters, I will speak about the group of souls. I will speak about this group of souls in particular. They are often called light workers, and I will use that name also. The reason for incarnating during this age of transition is not coincidental. They are deeply connected with the history of Earth. I will describe the psychological traits that most light workers possess. I will speak about their history, their galactic roots, and their mission on Earth. I will discuss in detail the stages of inner growth that are involved in releasing oneself from the karmic cycle. Okay, so the next chapter is the light worker one. Trying to see how long that chapter is. Oh, that's light worker three. I think I missed light worker two. It doesn't seem. Okay, I think I can read it. Light worker one. The light worker's identity. Light workers are souls who carry the strong inner desire to spread light knowledge, freedom, and self-love on earth. They sense this as their mission. They are often attracted to spirituality and to therapeutic work of some kind. Because of their deeply felt mission, light workers often feel different from other people. By experiencing different kinds of obstacles on their way, life provokes them to find their own unique path. Lightworkers are nearly always solitary individuals, not fitting into fixed societal structures. A note on the notion of lightworker. The word like worker may evoke misunderstanding since it lifts out a particular group of souls from the rest. It may be taken to suggest that this particular group is somehow superior to the others, that is, those not working for the light. This whole line of thought is at odds with the very nature and intent of light work. Let us state briefly what is wrong with it. First, claims of superiority are generally unenlightened. They block your path or your growth forward. They block your growth toward a free and loving consciousness. Second, light workers are not better or higher than anyone else. They simply have a different history than the ones not belonging to this group. Because of this particular history, which we will discuss below, they have certain psychological characteristics which distinguish them as a group. Third, every soul becomes a light worker at some stage of its unfolding. So the label light worker is not reserved to a limited number of souls. The reason we use the word light worker, despite possible misunderstandings, is because it carries associations and it stirs memories within you that help you remember. There is a practical convenience to it as well, since the term is frequently used in your current spiritual literature. Historical roots of light workers. Light workers carry within them the ability to attain spiritual awakening faster than other people. They carry inner seeds for a rapid spiritual awakening. With regard to this, they seem to be on a faster track than most people, if they choose it. This again is not because light workers are in any way better or higher souls. They are, however, older than most souls presently incarnate on earth. This older age should preferably be understood in terms of experience rather than time. Light workers have reached a particular stage of enlightenment before they incarnate on earth and start their mission. They consciously choose to become entrenched in the karmic wheel of life and to experience all forms of confusion and illusion that go with it. They do this in order to fully understand Earth experience. This will enable them to fulfill their mission. Only by going through all stages of ignorance and illusion themselves will they eventually own the tools to help others achieve a state of true happiness and enlightenment. Why do light workers pursue this heartfelt mission to help humanity, thereby running the risk of losing themselves for ages in the heaviness and confusion of earth life? This is a question we will deal with extensively below. For now, we will say that it has to do with a galactic type of karma. Lightworkers stood on the eve of humanity's birth on Earth. They took part in the creation of man. They were co-creators of humanity. In the process of creation, they made choices and acted in ways which they came to regret deeply afterwards. They are here now to make up for their decisions back then. Before we go into this particular history, we will name a few characteristics of light worker souls which generally distinguish them from other people. These psychological traits do not uniquely belong to light workers, and not all light workers will recognize all of them as theirs. By drawing up this list, we simply want to give an outline of the light worker's psychological identity. With regard to the characteristics, outer behavior is of less importance than inner motivation or felt intent. What you feel inside is more important than what you show outside. Psychological characteristics of light workers. From early on in their life, they feel very different. More often than not, they feel isolated from others, lonely and misunderstood. They will often become individualists who will have to find their own unique ways in life. They have trouble feeling at home with traditional jobs and or organization structures. Light workers are naturally anti-authoritarian, which means they naturally resist decisions or values based solely on power and or hierarchy. This anti-authoritarian trait is present even if they seem timid and shy. It is connected to the very essence of their mission here on earth. Light workers feel drawn to helping people. As a therapist or as a teacher, they may be psychologists, healers, teachers, nurses, etc. Even in their profession, even if their profession is not about helping people in a direct manner, their intent to contribute to the higher good of humanity is clearly present. Their vision of life is colored by a spiritual sense of how all things are related together. They consciously or subconsciously carry memories within them of non-earthly spheres of light. They may occasionally feel homesick for these spheres and feel like a stranger on earth. They deeply honor and respect life, which often manifests as a fondness for animals and a concern for the environment. The destruction of parts of the animal and vegetable kingdoms on earth by human doing invokes deep feelings of loss and grief in them. They are kind-hearted, sensitive, and empathetic. They may have trouble dealing with aggressive behavior, and they generally experience difficulties in standing up for themselves. They can be dreamy, naive, or highly idealistic, as well as insufficiently grounded, that is, down to earth. Because they easily pick up negative feelings and moods of people around them, it is important for them to spend time alone on a regular basis. This enables them to distinguish between their own feelings and those of others. They need solitary time to touch base with themselves and with Mother Earth. They have lived many lives on earth in which they were deeply involved with spirituality and or religion. They were, they were present in overwhelming numbers in the old religious orders of your past as monks, nuns, hermits, psychics, witches, shamans, priests, priestesses, etc. They were the ones providing a bridge between the visible and invisible, between the daily context of earth life and the mysterious realms of the afterlife, realms of God and the spirits of God of good and evil. For fulfilling this role, they were often rejected and persecuted. Many of you were sentenced to the stake for the gifts you possessed. The traumas of persecution left deep traces within your soul's memory. This may presently manifest as a fear of being fully grounded. That is, a fear to be really present because you remember being brutally attacked by those for who because you remember being brutally attacked for who you were getting lost. The light worker's pitfall. Light workers can be caught up in the same states of ignorance and illusion as anyone else. Although they start from a different point of departure, their capacity to break through fear and illusion in order to attain enlightenment may be blocked by many factors. By enlightenment, we mean the state of being in which you realize that you are essentially of the light, capable of choosing the light at any time. One of the factors blocking the road to enlightenment for light workers is the fact that they carry a heavy karmic burden, which may lead them astray for quite some time. As we stated before, this karmic burden is related to decisions they once made with regard to humanity in its infant stages. These decisions were essentially disrespectful of life. We will speak of this later in the chapter. All light workers now living wish to set right some of their past mistakes and to restore and cherish what was destroyed because of those mistakes. When light workers have made their way through the karmic burden, which means to release the need for power in any way, they will realize that they are essentially beings of light. This will enable them to help others in finding their own true selves. But first, they have to go through that process themselves. This generally demands great determination and perseverance on the inner level. Determination comes up again for me. Okay. Because society feeds them values and judgments which often go against their own natural impulses, many light workers have gotten lost, ending up in states of self-doubt, self-denial, and even depression and hopelessness. This is because they cannot fit into the established order of things, and they conclude there must be something terribly wrong with them. What light workers have to do at this point is to stop looking for validation from the outside, from parents, friends, or society. At some point in time, you who are reading this will have to take the momentous leap to true empowerment, which means to really believe in yourself and to truly honor and act upon your natural inclinations and your inner knowing. We invite you to do so, and we assure you that we will be with you every step of the way, just like you will be there for others on their way in the not too distant future. Okay, so I'm going to stop there today, and then I'll pick up in the next episode. We'll read Lightworker 2, The Galactic History of Lightworkers, The Birth of the Soul. Okay, guys, so that's the episode today. I hope it brought some form of joy, understanding, knowing, learning, curiosity, maybe answers. Answers for me, if you guys have any answers to what I'm dealing with or how to balance these things. Anyway, guys, so I hope you have a really great weekend, what's left of it, that you take time with yourself to understand yourself, to love yourself, to be gentle with yourself. Telling you this as I'm telling it to myself. Sometimes I forget with the busyness of life and paying bills and jobs, I can't connect and get the messages that are being sent to me. So sometimes I get a little lost there. But my quiet time in the evening that I have every evening kind of brings me back square to that, trying to connect, get the messages, and understand more about myself and my healing and my what hurts me, what helps me. So I don't know what's going to work for you, but I just try to carve out a little time every day for quiet time, and that seems to get me back to base. And also, I guess the busyness of working also has its lessons. And, I want to receive those lessons and understandings too until I can expand into a better reality. But I don't think I can skip this part. Like there's lessons here that I need to learn before I get to the next part. So understanding that too. Anyways, so have a great week. We will catch up again in the next episode. I wish you lots of love and joy, peace and harmony within yourself and all that you encounter. If this is your wish for yourself, from source to you guys and angels in the best way for you. Okay, guys? Hope you have a great day. Bye.